What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast alongside Raj Giri. We just had Smackdown. We've got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, most notably the Royal Rumble and a new job for a Hall of Famer, so to speak. If you all did not check out our interview with DDP this Monday, go check it out. It's on our YouTube. We have it available on Stitcher, on iTunes. Great stuff from him. He talks about rooming with Stone Cold Steve Austin, how he thought he had heat with Randy Orton, talks about his yoga program, talks about all kinds of good stuff. Download the DDP Yoga Now app. You get all kinds of great stuff on there, nutritional help, workout, inspirational stories, and also check out the Jake the Snake Roberts documentary, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. I got to watch it. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, go show DDP some love. That DDP Yoga Now app personally helped me, and it helped change the lives of several professional wrestlers. So Raj, I don't know if you caught Smackdown. Did you just watch that?
I did. I skimmed
How
through
about that fiery underdog, Roman Reigns? How can he ever overcome anything?
Yeah, they're really overdoing the whole Reigns overcoming the odds bit. Like it could come back to bite him. And I kind of expect that to happen.
I tell you what, if a 6'3", 265-pound millionaire that made it to the NFL as an underdog, I don't know what the rest of these other guys are. What are they?
Right. Yeah. It's I think
and he had his foot in the door because his dad was a Hall of Fame wrestler.
Yeah, when Reigns took out Triple H, it looked like they could have gotten on the right track with him as far as just being a defiant, just badass, silent badass type that, is out to get his man. But they kind of quickly changed him back to, where he's been. Oh, yeah, and I see the results just going back the same way.
Yeah, that's not what being an underdog didn't get him over. Kicking people's asses got him over. Going crazy and just beating the hell out of people got him over.
Yeah.
That's what he did in the Shield. That's what he did at TLC after the match. I don't get it.
I feel like they so badly want him to fill that void that John Cena would leave once he's gone that, they just keep reverting back to it as opposed to letting him be his own guy. And, if you had UFC telling Conor McGregor to be more like Ronda Rousey or, like not having these guys be different, it would be a disaster. So it's one of those things that different's good. You want to have different personalities and see which ones work and bring in the different audiences with that.
Yeah, and I want to talk about Conor McGregor a little later because he was as colorful as ever this week, both literally and figuratively, might I add. But yeah, it's super weird. Roman Reigns kicked ass in the Shield. He kicked ass at TLC, and they take him a different direction. He won by DQ against the League of Nations in the main event of this SmackDown. Very uneventful SmackDown. The Usos did help him. That was cool. But ultimately, the Wyatt family stood tall again. They beat the hell out of him, closed the show. They're really what do you think all this Wyatt family business this week is leading to, just to try to put him over for the Rumble?
Yeah, I think for Mania, too, it's obvious they have plans for, at least one of them. And so they decided that they need to make them a dominant faction again, even though they lost to the Dudleys last week and, we're running away from Ryback last week. So it's one of those deals where have this stuff planned out months in advance and then keep the guys you're going to have in featured matches strong. I mean, if you're going to have one of them against Brock Lesnar and God, I hope it's Bray Wyatt, keep them strong, don't decide at the last minute we need something for Lesnar, so might as well go with Bray Wyatt or Braun Strowman and let's get some heat on him this week.
Yeah, I had somebody on Twitter say it's hard to overcome the odds when you've been pushed down our throat for 3 years. Well, let's not go that far. There was a time a couple years ago where people wanted Roman Reigns to win the Royal Rumble when Daniel Bryan got thrown out. I mean, the crowd was behind Roman Reigns, so it's not like this is like some horrible, tired thing. I mean,
yeah, he's been getting a sustained push his whole run, though.
Yeah, definitely, and he's been protected. But I mean, it's not like it's not like this was a thing that right off the bat fans were like, "Oh, this guy again." It wasn't one of those things.
Yeah, the hard push has definitely been the past year and a half.
Yeah, when he was deemed the guy.
Yeah,
that's when it happened.
Once the Shield split and they turned him babyface, pretty much since then.
Yeah. So a lot of nothing happened on this SmackDown. There was a really awesome segment, though. I thought Miz TV was great. Miz has been getting interrupted every single week by not by Dean Ambrose, but anybody. Dean Ambrose ran down the history of the feud with Kevin Owens. Usually when they do this, it feels really terrible, really like almost patronizing. They're like, oh, hey, we're going to remind you of the history because you're too dumb to remember it. But he did it in a way that didn't make me feel that way. Miz attacked him, and Dean Ambrose or Kevin Owens came down to pick up the pieces. But then he hit Miz with a pop-up powerbomb, which I thought was hilarious. And then Ambrose ate it, or Miz ate it from Ambrose as well with dirty deeds. Kevin Owens dipped out, yada, yada. I thought this was pretty good.
Yeah, I wish they'd do more angles like this on Raw, where you have like more of the mid-card segments being given more promo time and things like that. But yeah, I thought that was a good segment.
I realized the other night while watching TNA Impact that the concept of the pro wrestling promo, where you yourself come out with a microphone and you're pitching all this stuff, it's so weird.
It is.
It's so weird that Stephanie McMahon and Roman Reigns are airing these grievances in front of everybody. What's wrong with having I'm not saying bring Mean Gene Okerlund, but right. Renee Young's there. Mauro Ranallo's there. Rich Brennan is there. Tom Phillips is there. Just have somebody come out there with a microphone, and it's so natural to say, well, this is why I'm pissed off at so-and-so.
Yeah, exactly. I think an interviewer is just a lot more realistic way to do those. And yeah, they did that in WCW. It was WWF that kind of cut the trend of doing that back in the Attitude Era. And it is weird when you really think about it. You know, if you had a TV show where some guy just walks out and is like, well, last week, you know.
Yeah. It's like, why didn't you kick his ass before last week? We know you've been around him.
Yeah, it's an odd thing if you think about it.
Yeah, a whole lot of nothing else. Usos and Dolph Ziggler over the New Day with a super kick party. That was okay. Becky Lynch over Alicia
Fox. I gotta say, like with Jericho's promo at the beginning, I wonder if they're trying to turn him heel and giving him just terrible material, because this is really bad stuff. Like, I mean, stuff that Jericho's, really smart guy. He's got to know it's bad. So either he's just like, screw it, I'll just have fun with it. I'm not here that long past Mania anyway. Or it's to kind of turn the fans against him a little bit.
Yeah, I almost tried to black that out of my mind. I can't believe that after the first week he went with that Rudy Tooty Booty thing. I couldn't believe he did it to begin with, because it's stupid. It's ignorant. He knows better. I don't know. It's super weird, but it was terrible. New Day, man, they got to do something. They got to switch it up a little bit. They're funny guys, but they're doing the same thing every single week. There needs to be something else to that. Something I really liked. I liked Ric Flair on commentary. Man.
Yeah, when was the last time he's been on commentary? I can't remember him.
Not recently.
I don't think he's ever called one of Charlotte's matches. I can't.
Well, I really liked this. Charlotte was good. She can tell she's learning by having her dad by her side. And in NXT, I hated the little Flair gimmick, but as a heel, it's kind of working for me right now. I'm kind of enjoying it.
And the crowd was quiet, though.
Man. Well, not when Titus O'Neil came out there. Did you hear that? Somebody said it sounded like The Rock returned with the way that they canned that audio. Come on now. If you all built up your stars and made them worth a damn, you wouldn't have to can all that audio. I wonder if they know that.
God, and that inset promo that they had Titus do. It was like that same one, like Dolph Ziggler did one a couple of weeks ago. Man, those things, I don't know if they have different writers. I mean, not that the promos otherwise are great, but they just sound like just extra scripted and so unnatural, like like a local TV commercial, for like a law firm or something like that. That's what comes across as, like, just the smiles are over exaggerated, and it's just so bad.
My fiance watched Table for Three with Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and Ryback, and that was hilarious. And the one thing she took away is like, wow, look how entertaining those guys can be when they don't have people writing for them. Even she knows, and she doesn't watch wrestling.
Right. And yeah, any of those WWE network shows, even Total Divas, which is pretty scripted, but they come across way they have way more genuine character. They're like real characters on that show. They're annoying as hell, some of them, but at least they have differing personalities, and it comes through. But I don't know if they're going with Cody versus Stephen Amell at WrestleMania, or if it's at Fastlane. I would think just with the amount of pub they got from Amell at SummerSlam that they'd probably be doing it for Mania. Mm-hmm. If they are, they really should start giving Cody some wins. Because he's faced Titus like 6,000 times now and lost every time.
Keeps losing. Yeah.
And it's going nowhere. It's not like there's a progression of something happening each time.
A month ago, Titus was saying that he wanted him to be Cody Rhodes and that he was being something he wasn't. But there's been no mention of that. Not one time in one of these matches that Cody Rhodes has lost to Titus O'Neil in under 5 minutes.
Yeah. Was that the only other match?
No, there were a couple more. I did like the second rope clash of the Titus, though. That was pretty cool. Becky Lynch beat Alicia Fox. For some reason, Alicia Fox did a bridging suplex outside the ring. Like she was
waiting for her to yell, "Count it, ref!" You know.
Oh gosh. But that was Cameron. But
yeah, I know. But it reminded me of that spot.
She should have. She should have done that as a rib.
I don't know why you would do that. It makes you look dumb, and it's a move that hurts. You know, why do that on the outside?
Did you see Cameron's tweets about WWE Creative?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if she realizes that if she could wrestle, that might help a little bit too.
Well, she's trying, but social media is not the place to air out your grievances like that.
Yeah, I agree. Bray Wyatt beat Ryback off a distraction, and Strowman sending Ryback into the stairs.
They've really been burying Ryback lately. I mean, he's been losing nonstop. I wonder if, he said he was going to pitch Vince McMahon an idea for WrestleMania, and hopefully it's not a losing streak because that's never worked. So we'll see. Or either Vince McMahon hated it so bad that he's like, all right, this is what you get.
Oh man, could you imagine Ryback going in there? There was Smackdown. There was nothing
Real
to
quick,
it.
Do you have DirecTV or what do you watch?
Yeah, I have DirecTV.
Did you see the Lucha Underground promo?
Yeah, they do those during Raw sometimes too.
Yeah, this was kind of cool because they had the Lucha Underground promo and then they had the Kalisto promo backstage, where he referenced Rey Mysterio, who's going to be, on
not only did he reference Rey Mysterio, he compared Alberto Del Rio to Rey Mysterio, Mil Mascaras, and Eddie Guerrero. Now, Del Rio, he's up there, but he's not that up there. Holy crap.
No. It's funny. He's never been as over as Rey Mysterio, but as far as just actual titles won and stuff, he's got Rey beat. I think he's got at least a number of days as champion. So, but it's and Kalisto, they're bearing this guy something fierce, which makes me. I mean, he just got the crap kicked out of him backstage. He took the fall on Raw. I mean, it makes it seem like either he's winning on Sunday or
that's such a weird way to book. That's such a weird ass way to book.
It's always so dumb. Don't have, what I prefer is don't have two guys in a match have a fall one way or the other before the pay-per-view, before the actual match. Now, I know they got to fill all this time, so they're going to do it, but I know the thinking is like, well, if we're having Big E win on Raw, that means, it's because the Usos are winning Sunday, but the fans are not supposed to know that. Yeah. So you should make it where the challengers have steam against the heels. So, the heels lay out the challengers if the challenger's a babyface, and that way, builds that heat for that match as opposed to just the same generic, this guy's winning because he's losing on Sunday type of deal.
This is their fourth singles match in a month on TV. Fourth. That's absurd.
Who's that?
Kalisto and Del Rio. This will be their fourth because because they had 3 already. It's insane. So that was SmackDown. Not a lot else. Nothing on this show. Kind of just, your typical meh show before you head into the Royal Rumble. Now, speaking of the Royal Rumble, always big for the site too. We had a ton of here. If you were to make one bold prediction for a giant surprise at the Royal Rumble, what would it be?
Triple H, I guess, doesn't count. I don't know. Does AJ Styles count anymore?
Yeah, I think it counts because you never know with WWE.
Yeah, so I think AJ Styles. The Daniel Bryan stuff's interesting.
Yeah, which he was going to be in Pittsburgh for World of Wheels anyway, but it's very interesting.
Well, the thing is, like, Dave Meltzer noted last night on Wrestling Observer Radio that Bryan got cleared by the concussion specialist at UCLA. Now, normally that doesn't really mean much because he's been cleared before, and it's ultimately WWE's decision. But Daniel Bryan said in October that that WWE was going to go to a third doctor, and that was probably going to decide his fate. So was this UCLA thing, was that WWE's like third opinion, or was it something Daniel Bryan just did on his own to kind of see where he stood? And if it was something WWE initiated, then that would seem to indicate that they're considering bringing him back to action, and if he passed it with flying colors, then why wouldn't they?
And if it was something WWE did, why the hell did they wait 3 months? 3 months,
right? Yeah,
because that was in October when he said that, correct?
Yeah, that was October, and I thought he had said he went to another doctor since then, but I might be thinking about his injury last year. But yeah, it's an interesting deal. I don't get the delays. It would be really weird if they did it just to wait after the Rumble to not screw their plans up this year. I couldn't see them doing that, but it would actually be kind of smart. But in that case, if Bryan is in the picture, that changes a lot of things. So,
yeah, and I always thought that at least a good feud, and I know a lot of people would hate the idea of Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, but if Sheamus had been protected to any level, and he kind of has, I mean, he was champion, you have a ready feud right there, because why wouldn't Sheamus be pissed off that the guy he beat in 12 seconds got all the glory out of that?
He could, but there's just something about that match that does nothing for me. I'd rather go with you got Kevin Owens doing nothing. I think Kevin Owens versus Bryan, and Bryan could beat him. It wouldn't hurt Owens too bad. Owens hasn't really, I don't know, he hasn't really won a real big decent match in a long time. But
I'm holding out hope for that Sami Zayn Rumble appearance. That's my hope for the surprise, outside of Triple H. That doesn't count. But my hope is that Sami Zayn debuts in the Royal Rumble, basically does the old Mick Foley, Randy Orton, where he eliminates Owens and himself, and they brawl to the back, and I would love to see that.
I just don't see them doing an NXT angle, on their TV. They just never do it,
I think you hate Canadian people, Raj.
I love it. I'm excited for Sami Zayn. I'm a little worried about how he's going to be booked on the main roster. I mean, they brought him in for like a week, remember? And he was on Main Event for a couple of weeks, and then kind of faded away. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Sami Zayn. My guess is he's already been on WWE TV. He already had kind of a surprise appearance. So I wouldn't think it's Sami Zayn. I would probably go with Baron Corbin. It's like that year they brought Rusev in. Do you remember that? Just out of the blue, and he didn't really do much and was eliminated.
Well, they did that with Bo Dallas too. They put Bo Dallas in it because of the NXT tournament or Battle Royal or whatever the hell they did.
Right. But that made more sense because they had an actual reason. Like with Rusev, it was just so random. I don't know. Yeah. And the crowd was just quiet. They didn't know what to make of it.
I just hope the WWE doesn't consider Tommy Dreamer or Rhino as surprises.
Oh God, no. I mean, they usually bring back a couple familiar faces. But if you were to bring back someone from like the glory days of ECW, I'd say like Rob Van Dam, but they've done that before.
Who has Orlando ties? It is in Orlando, right?
Yeah,
it is. Okay.
Yeah. Isn't RVD from Florida?
Well, he's from Michigan. I mean, he might live there now, but he's from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Right. Yeah, but you know, I mean, most of those wrestlers are from. I mean, I could easily see them doing like Road Dogg and some guys like that.
Yeah.
That they have no plans for afterwards, but it's just something to get a cheap pop.
The Mountie.
Yeah.
If they ever did one in Toronto or Montreal, that might actually be kind of cool. But yeah. So also something. We'll run through the match listing. Dean Ambrose. Well, who do you see winning the Rumble? We'll go there first.
All right. So here's the thing: if Daniel Bryan's coming back, I would say they don't bring him into the Rumble because I feel like he would have to win if they had him win again this year.
Otherwise, the same thing with last year. Why the hell they do that?
Right? Yeah, it's just idiocy.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So if Daniel Bryan were to get in, I would say he would win, but I don't see that happening. I would say if he's coming back, they're going to hold it off a couple weeks or wait till Raw. So I'm going to go with, we've been talking for months about Triple H winning the Rumble. Before he attacked Reigns, we were saying Triple H comes in, wins the Rumble, faces Reigns at Mania, and it looks like that's probably what will happen, just with Triple H winning the title in the process. So that's who I've got to go with is Triple H.
One of our readers, WrestleFan01, says, "I'm with Raj. I'm not a fan of Canadians either."
Yeah, I like Canadians.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before I should have asked you this before, because this may completely change your opinion on who wins the Royal Rumble. Who wins the qualifier before the Dudley Boys, the Ascension, Titus O'Neil, no, it's not Titus O'Neil. It's Darren Young and Damian Sandow, or who's the fourth? Jack Swagger and Mark Henry. You think it's going to be one of those guys?
I don't know.
Jack Swagger's a team of former world champions, mind you, Swagger and Henry.
It's either Dudley's or Swagger and Henry, and I would think they'd go with Swagger and Henry just because Henry was announced for the Rumble earlier, and oddly taken out of it. So, unless Henry said he doesn't want to take that, that bump from going over the top rope, which always could be a thing. Then I'd probably go with the Dudleys. They'll get more of a guaranteed pop, and they're a little bigger stars. And
why the hell are Sandow and Darren Young teaming up? There was no split with Titus and Darren Young.
The fact that they don't take they could do something in 5 minutes to explain that. And they don't, like primetime players splitting up, just do a backstage segment where Titus is saying he's going to, he's trying to win the title before he retires and he needs to get going, or, anything, something.
Do you remember the hilarious one they did for Ryback? Did you see that one?
Oh my God.
It was great. It was Ryback and Curtis Axel when Ryback came back, and they had this awkward backstage encounter where they called themselves the greatest tag team of all time, and said that it was like out of some crappy 80s movie where they're like, yeah, one day we'll reunite, buddy, and all that stuff. It was so weird. I encourage everybody to look it up because it was so awkward and funny.
Yeah. So who are you picking
to win the Rumble?
Yeah.
Triple H, but as you said, if Daniel Bryan's there, he can't lose it. I take that back. Unless he's the last guy in and Triple H is the one that eliminates him, and you want to get an obscene amount of heat on Triple H, you could do that. Just
because there's no way that I see WWE putting the title on him right now. You see how they are with wrestlers when they come back from injuries or concussions.
We saw a guy get fired on Breaking Ground for being too fragile.
Yeah, and Bryan last year, I mean, you saw when he came back, his first match back, he's losing to Bray Wyatt, and he shoved down the card. I see them doing that with him again. If he returns, he'll probably be upper mid card, in the Intercontinental title area. So Yeah,
But that upper mid
yeah,
card
I
is
think
going to look pretty good though here in a few months.
Right.
If AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura come in, hey, if he has to be in the upper mid card, so be it. If I get to watch him wrestle AJ Styles and Nakamura and Kevin Owens and all these people, I think I can deal with that.
I'd love to see Nakamura come in with Paul Heyman, and I think like I've said before, I think if you do the Balor Club, and I almost think that's the best use of them, is having them come in as a group, because I think individually AJ Styles is probably the only one that I see really and Nakamura getting over. But Nakamura, I'd like to see him paired with Heyman, because I think Heyman just adds so much to the show, and having him there on a weekly basis with Nakamura, and he could get Nakamura over like crazy. And,
Nakamura has a shoot background too. He was an MMA fighter, and that is something they can play up. I mean, he was an MMA fighter.
They don't I mean, it's not like Heyman's only managed MMA guys. You know what I mean? Like,
well, successfully in this run. I mean, the Cesaro thing wasn't a success. The Ryback thing wasn't. Yeah, that was a huge success actually. Well, what makes you think that the Nakamura thing would be different from them? I think that Nakamura is as special as CM Punk. I definitely do.
I'm not saying it would be different, but I'm saying at least there's a chance if he's paired with Heyman. I could see WWE losing interest quick just from past experiences. I mean, if they give Nakamura his own name and then don't want him doing the things that he did to get over his whole career, they're going to be spending a lot of money for just another guy.
Well, I think a thing that is in Nakamura's favor is that a lot of the things that endear him to American wrestling fans, me in particular, are his antics inside the ring. Like it's the charismatic displays he has within the ring, like how he twitches and things like that. He's just something different. He doesn't need to say a word to get over, but having Paul Heyman say words for him probably wouldn't hurt.
Yes, so you're I already see JBL talking about how he's fun to watch.
Oh, God.
And
I got to listen to JBL right after I listened to Corey Graves being amazing on NXT.
That guy has gotten so much better, Corey Graves. I mean,
he's remarkable.
I'd love to see. I think it's time for him to take JBL's spot on. I mean, personally, I'd like to see Morrow and Lawler on Raw, but at the same time, with Vince listening to every word, it might mess up that dynamic. But they're great. SmackDown, I just find it so easy to watch because the commentary is so good. And
if you're on the fence about watching wrestling and you happen to watch this podcast, I know a lot of people are. Hey, just watch SmackDown on Tuesdays. You'll find out everything that happened on Raw because they'll show you a recap. And you get to listen to Mauro Ranallo and Jerry Lawler, who has stepped his game up big time since Ranallo showed up.
Yeah, and in reality, SmackDown is pretty much a 1 hour show. If you take out the commercials, that's a half hour right there. Then the Raw recaps, just so many, and video packages and stuff that it's 1 hour and it goes by pretty fast, especially if you DVR it and start it like a half hour in and skip the nonsense. I mean, it's I found SmackDown a lot better, but good God, another DQ finish in the main event. We'll go back to the Rumble, but there hasn't been a clean finish yet, has there, on that show since they moved to USA?
I don't think so. We'll move through the Royal Rumble card kind of quickly. Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. Who do you have?
Charlotte, even though, I mean, they could do a short run with Becky, but I think Charlotte's defending at Mania. So whether they have her lose it for a short period or not, I think that's the way they're going.
Yeah, Charlotte feels like a champion now. She feels like she's really embraced that role. I'm not going to say her in-ring work is there yet, but
and no offense to Becky, I mean, she's been doing great in this feud, and I think this feud is one of the better, it's probably the best feud they got going on right now. But the crowds are not reacting to Becky.
It's a shame.
She's they're pretty quiet. So it's a feud that's been built well, but it's just not clicking.
New Day versus the Usos. Who you have?
I think the Usos. I think
Usos are going to win the title.
I think so, and then they'll, because New Day has no one left right now, so I see
It's true.
the Usos winning it. It'll be like with the primetime players last year. It's just something, so they keep the feud going. They have something for New Day to do, and then they'll, go back to the New Day.
Yeah. I want New Day, like I said, I've said it before on the show, I want them to just keep winning and losing the tag titles, so eventually they become like 15-time tag team champions, so they can have something fun to do with that. Del Rio versus Kalisto. First time ever.
Common sense would say Del Rio, just because I feel like with the lack of depth on the WrestleMania card, you need all the guys that are even semi-stars, to be strong. And I don't know what another loss to Kalisto does except bring him down a notch, especially the way he's been booked. So I'll go with Del Rio, but the way they've been squashing Kalisto the last 3 shows almost, makes you think that they're going to go with Kalisto.
And Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. By the way, I've got Del Rio as well. Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens, last man standing match. This should be crazy.
Yeah, I think this is probably the blow off of the feud. I think Ambrose takes it.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I want Dean Ambrose to defend that Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. I think that Kevin Owens doesn't need a title to do something special, but I mean, who knows? I don't know which way they're going to take it, but I'm reserving. I'm not going to say, if one guy wins, the other one doesn't, that it's a horrible idea, because I think these two can do something special.
Well, I think Ambrose and Jericho, if that's the way they're going at Mania, I think adding the Intercontinental title to that makes it bigger than where they went with Jericho and Owens. So
yeah. So that's the Royal Rumble. We will be here. Hopefully, if I don't get buried in snow this weekend and for some reason can't do the show, but we will be here after the Rumble for a post-Royal Rumble podcast. Really excited for that. Also really excited, I interviewed Adam Cole this week, Raj, and you know what he told me?
What's that?
That Onnit made him a super genius.
Well.
He is a big supporter of Onnit. He admitted to me that he has never actually worked out in his life or trained as a pro wrestler. He just takes Onnit and he becomes this Ring of Honor world champion, if you could imagine that. That's in no way true, but he does use Onnit, as do we. We use that alpha brain so we can handle all this heavy news on like this month. I mean, we've had all this crazy Bullet Club stuff. We've got Royal Rumble stuff. I've got a big story dropping Monday, which I'll tell you all about here in a minute. But these guys, Triple H, Cesaro, Seth Rollins, Steve Austin, they have to stay in shape while on the go. They use Onnit T+, Onnit Alpha Brain. The T+, they did a test with Florida State powerlifters that increased their strength by 36% during a study. I encourage you all to check it out. You can save 10% at onnit.com/wrestling. And if you don't like it, if you don't want to just take a supplement and then immediately be able to challenge for the Ring of Honor world title on pay-per-view next month, like Adam Cole's able to do, you can send it back, get your money back. Onnit will give it to you. Just don't tell them that that's what I told you it could do. But it can. It can do that, guys. Onnit.com/wrestling. I love their stuff. But yeah, Adam Cole got that interview. It's going to come soon. But we had some interesting news today, and it's been a hot topic, and people have been wanting us to talk about it. Sonny, Raj.
Mm-hmm. It's like 20 years too late.
20 years too late.
That's what they should call it.
Yeah. No. We also had somebody ask if we were doing a live viewing party on the website.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe. Well, I don't know. I might live tweet it from my account. I get the feeling that we would lose followers on the Wrestling Inc. business account if we live tweeted it. But do you think they're going to send us review copies, Raj?
Probably. They sent me the stuff with China.
Oh, wow. That was a joke.
Yeah, no, they did. They did. We used to, back in the day, and before WWE went PG, we used to have this Girl of the Month thing. And so Vivid was one of the companies that was constantly pitching their girls for the Girl of the Month thing. And
Gonna have to send them a sponsorship inquiry, I think.
Well, as WWE went PG, we've gone PG-13. But yeah. So then one day they sent the China stuff. My wife was like, "What? What is this?" I'm not reviewing this.
Oh man. Oh, I thought that was I definitely didn't expect that answer in any way.
You are always surprised what they send out.
There were the people. What's that wrestling? What's that show that's on WGN? The wrestling funeral home show.
Is that still on?
Well, yeah, but they were sending out. They actually sent me a thing. They were going to send me, I think, a golden shovel. And I was like, that's the weirdest thing. That's the weirdest thing I've ever, like, somebody's ever been like, oh, hey, we'll send you. It's like a golden shovel.
Yeah.
Really, really weird.
The stuff they send sometimes, like, I feel bad because then you almost feel obligated to review it. Like, like Condemned 2 and, stuff like that. But
no comment. No comment.
It might be good, but yeah, I remember getting, some Kurt Angle movie called Edge of Darkness or something like that. Not the one with Vin Diesel, but anyway, and so I always
true
to check it out. And
true story here, guys. We were set to interview a couple of the guys from the Condemned, and I told Raj, and I said, well, there's a downside, Raj. And he said, what's that? And I said, they're also sending me a review copy of the Condemned 2. And yeah. But yeah, we might have a couple of those interviews for you. If Lionsgate will ever get on the ball and get back to me, they're remarkably slow. But yeah, so Sunny is, which here's the thing. Yesterday, she's on TMZ Sports saying they haven't paid me enough or they won't pay me enough. But today, 24 hours later, it's announced that she's already done a video.
Yeah, so I don't know. So the way it was explained to me, and I could be wrong, is that they already had they had started something with her a while ago that never got completed. And I don't know if it was a fallout over money. And I'll have to double check this. This is just on the podcast. I'm not putting it on the site or anything, but that footage is a little older, and now they're gonna, shoot new stuff because that's what someone had sent that I haven't. But or it could be that they filmed it this morning and rushed to get stuff out while the story's hot, which makes sense too. I mean.
Yeah. Personally, there's a lot of people saying a lot. I mean, I'll tell you guys, that thread was a moderator's nightmare. It really was. Whatever. I'm not holding this against her. I don't think any less of her. Whatever. Her vagina, her business, you guys. Whatever. She wants to use it to make money, and she can.
Yeah, more power to her.
Not everybody has the option of being naked for a living. But God bless those who do and can make money from it. If that's what they want to do, whatever, I don't care. But somebody asked the question, if there are shots of the Hall of Fame ring, is there any copyright? Are there any copyright issues WWE can throw at them, throw at Vivid?
That's a good question. I mean, you would think that like a WWE champion couldn't have the belt during a movie, use it in a movie, or I don't know. That's a good question.
Also, we had a lot of people that were saying stuff like they should pull her from the Hall of Fame. This is just like China. This is not just like China. China did this before. She's not in the Hall of Fame. Did it, accused the COO of beating her or hitting her, and accused his friend of raping her. And then once in the Hall of Fame. Little bit of a different situation here. Sunny's already in the Hall of Fame. They may take her out. I don't know, but
even with all that, they wouldn't put her in. I think it's got more to do with Stephanie and Triple H than the porn stuff.
Oh, I'm sure it does. But yeah, the definitely interesting situation developing, and I'm sure we'll have lots more news on it. As the weekend goes.
You're missing a huge story too, unless you're waiting to get to it.
What's that?
A world title change this week.
Oh yeah. Didn't forget it, actually. So I watched Impact this week. I usually don't get to catch Impact. Tuesdays are my the night off that I take with with my fiance and things like that. But I actually watched it after I got in, and yeah, so Matt Hardy beats EC3 in the main event of Impact, last man standing match. Tyrus, by the way, Tyrus cut an awesome promo earlier in the night. I want to say that. His promo kicked ass. Came out, turned on EC3. Matt Hardy, EC3 did a double turn. Matt Hardy wins the title. How did you feel about it, Raj?
Eh.
I kind of liked it. I actually did. Now, keep in mind,
Matt Hardy's good, and so it'll be fun. It's something.
Yeah. I'm not saying Matt Hardy is like the world's greatest worker. I'm not saying he's the world's greatest personality. I do know Matt. And I like him personally, but I wouldn't come on here and say that I like this angle if I didn't, because I've bashed on TNA plenty of times when they deserved it. But
Matt Hardy's run as a heel in ROH, that was like
exactly.
Yeah, it was great. And that promo, do you remember that promo he did, that silent promo with the piano music, and he had the
the cue card, the cards.
Yeah, that was like one of my favorite promos. Like,
big money Matt.
Yeah, it was awesome. So,
and you have people
where they go, but I think the Jeff Hardy stuff is just
it's I hate it when people prompt the crowd to chant Hardy, let them chant it their damn selves. But I don't think Jeff Hardy will probably be wrestling for a while by the looks of it. But Matt, you have a lot of people saying 41-year-old Matt Hardy doesn't deserve to be the world champion. Well, that's a kind of heat that you don't get anymore. It's not. I mean, the TNA fans are probably going to watch it anyway. That group of people aren't going to turn away. But EC3 was getting too cool to be a babyface, or too cool to be a heel. I think he was getting over in the wrong way as a heel. He needed to be a baby face. He is the face of the brand. He's the one out there promoting their shows. When Impact's going to pop, I hear from him. Whenever they're doing a pay-per-view, I hear from him. He is the face of that brand, and he should be a baby face. I think he can be a really good baby face.
Yeah, definitely try it, and don't nip it in the bud before it starts to take off. But about 41-year-old Matt Hardy, you got 46-year-old Triple H who might be winning the WWE title this Sunday. So.
Little bit of difference in prestige there, but I mean, I think that Matt Hardy, given the situation, is a good pick for this. It gives TNA another chase for the title, because they've had Matt Hardy chase the title twice already. Now EC3's chasing the title as a babyface. He still hasn't been pinned. He still hasn't been submitted. He did lose a last man standing match, but I like it. And you still have Tyrus, and Tyrus isn't a great main event or anything, but man, I was so impressed with the promo that he cut at the beginning of the show. I thought it was really good. Otherwise on Impact, hit or miss, but a lot of good mic work on the show. But yeah, Matt Hardy, new TNA World Champion. It's just and their ratings have went up a little bit. How high? I want to know from you. You've been involved with. I mean, you've had Wrestling Inc. since like 97, 98. How high do you think that the TNA viewership numbers are going to go?
If I had to guess, the ceiling's probably high threes, low fours.
Because aren't they in the mid threes now?
Yeah, with the title change and everything. And I have a feeling they're going to dip. My guess is that they're going to dip next week.
So you mean 3 or 4 million, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, the brand is just too tainted, and too many people have just, it's just like not even an option anymore. They know it's on, and it's like they just don't want to watch it. They don't want to give it another chance. It's just gotten too tainted.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a very short bit, a little bit of MMA before we get into the questions. We're going to do probably full 10 minutes on questions. Conor McGregor is hilarious. Conor McGregor is crazy. He showed up a half an hour late for a press conference this week, dressed like El Chapo. He's facing Dos Anjos for the lightweight title in March. This guy, if WWE could put one guy like this, they would be swimming in the pool like Scrooge McDuck with the gold coins.
Yeah, first they wouldn't give him a shot because he's too small.
Yeah.
Second, they'd have the scripted promos. And so, when you think about the 4 biggest pay-per-view box office draws last year. It was Rousey, Mayweather, Pacquiao, and Conor McGregor, and none of them probably would have made it in developmental. Rousey maybe, but that's about it. And those guys are the bigger stars. So there's something about. And at the same time, it does look preposterous if you have a 145-pound guy facing, like a Roman Reigns or something. So, there's something to be said about trying out a cruiserweight division and taking it seriously and not having them get squashed by the bigger guys and being treated as jokes and seeing if it works out, because you never know what kind of personalities you might get in there. So
yeah. And he said that if he wins the 155-pound title, he might go for the 170 title too. This was something a friend of mine brought up, and I didn't realize how much that I wanted a Conor McGregor Robbie Lawler fight until I thought about it, because I was like, oh, that'd be preposterous. Then I thought about it, and I was like, Robbie Lawler's not going to take him down. He doesn't care. It's an obscene fight. It's such a weird fight, but I'm like, for some weird I want to see it just because I want it. Why not?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Dos Anjos is it's a tough challenge up ahead.
Yeah, and I don't think Conor McGregor bringing up his kids. He said that Rafael Dos Anjos named his kids Bob and Donald, and that he's not a real Brazilian. That is not true, by the way. His kids have very Brazilian names. I don't know why Dos Anjos didn't say anything about that, but you got to watch it when you're bringing people's kids into things. Also, big fight last weekend. TJ Dillashaw and Dominick Cruz. Dominick Cruz had one fight in the past 4 years. People questioned him if he'd still have it. He had been fighting guys that were eventually flyweights the last time he was really around, and he won back his bantamweight championship. Did you get to see the fight?
I did. Yeah, it was close. I had the first 3 rounds for Cruz, so I had Cruz winning, but it was really close. But man, I think Cruz is great, and he brings some spark to that division. So
he's become a supreme trash talker as well. He just bullied Dillashaw on the mic.
And he's believable. Like, him, like Bisping, they truly sound like they believe what they're saying. Like Chael Sonnen, one thing that always bothered me is he just sounded like he was just trying to get attention, and he's just saying whatever crazy stuff. And McGregor is kind of like that to an extent, except he has been backing it up. Whereas, Sonnen, would say how he's the real world champ and all that kind of stuff. Cruz, you believe what he says. He trash talks, but you get the impression that he means everything he's saying. Yeah, and he's a true fight genius, as we've seen on the Fox Sports analysis. Now we're going to get into some questions. We didn't get to answer that many on Monday, so we kind of wanted to make it up for you and give you quite a bit. We've already answered who won the Rumble. Somebody asked that, and what we would name the Sunny movie. And Raj had the perfect idea. 20 years too late. Or it's always sunny here in my my fire hole. I don't know. Oh God, I think it's definitely going to be an overcast situation in that movie. Oh my God, some cumulus clouds are going to form. But if Charlotte retains, where does Becky go from there? Surely this feud can't go on too much longer. I think Becky might get lumped in with some sort of multiple person deal. If Nikki comes back, maybe there's that. But you never know if Nikki's going to be face or heel. So, yeah, I agree. Sonny's new movie versus Condemned 2. You have to watch one. Which is it? Well, by the sounds of it, I could get review copies of both. Oh man, I kind of like the Condemned one, but this one doesn't have Steve Austin. I'm going to go with Sonny's movie shamelessly. How long is Sonny's movie? If it's 30 minutes, I could probably. Good point. But an hour and a half of, the Condemned 2. I can't remember the last WWE movie. I don't know if there ever has been one that I've liked. That they've, with the wrestler in the lead role and everything. So there you go. Probably is Strowman the next big thing we need but don't deserve? Well, we don't deserve it, that's for sure, because we've not done anything that terrible to WWE.
I don't think he's the next big thing. No.
No, I think he's the next Jeep Swanson.
There you go. Hey, Jeep Swanson played Bane in a Batman movie, though. So
he headlined the WCW pay-per-view with like
That's
30
true.
other guys against Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. So
wasn't Tiny Lister in that too? Debo from Friday.
Z Gangsta, he was.
So they had Zeus and Bane. Hogan wouldn't put over Zeus and Bane.
And
or,
like
Debo and
the
Bane.
Horsemen in it too, and the Faces of Fear, or Dungeon of Doom, or who?
Yeah,
it was all those guys. And
yeah, I remember that. It was
Hogan and Savage still won. It was.
Yeah,
I love Macho Man, but good God, that was so hard to watch.
Do you see Strowman or Bray going over Lesnar at Mania if it happens? No.
I think with Bray, man, I almost feel. I don't know what you do. Do you have Bray go 0-3? Like a win over Lesnar, it just has so much meaning, and it's time to pull the trigger on somebody. I would say you do it. I would say you put Bray over Brock.
Damn, that would be. It would be. I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
What are the odds that Sonny's new motion picture gets nominated for an Oscar? I would say about the same chances that Zack Ryder would end up dating M.O. Never mind. That Zack Ryder has of winning the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, or The Condemned 2 being nominated for an Oscar.
That should have been the question. That should have been the question. Which is more likely to get nominated for an Oscar? Yeah. Ooh. That's a good one. Where do you see Kevin Owens at Mania?
Well, if Daniel Bryan comes back, I'd like to see that. I think Daniel Bryan against Kevin Owens would be fantastic. Otherwise, I really don't know. I mean, you can bring someone up from NXT, but it's you're running out of time. I mean, to get someone over on TV and then put him in a Mania match against Kevin Owens. I mean, you could do Sami Zayn. If Daniel Bryan's not back, I think Sami Zayn would be a good choice.
That's what I'm holding out hope for is Sami Zayn. I really want that to happen. Should Styles be a heel or face? He's going to be a babyface his first night in. And WWE does this weird thing very often where when somebody's over as a babyface, their first night in, they'll make them a heel anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see the kind of reaction he gets, because it's, I mean, if it was NXT, it'd be gigantic, but what percentage? I mean, AJ Styles would be bigger than Nakamura or, Gallows or those guys because of the TNA familiarity, but how much of that main roster will, pop big for him? And I think it'll be a good pop. Yeah,
I think he'll get a good one, and it's in Orlando. So. Yeah. Do you think there's a chance for anyone outside of Triple H, Reigns, or Lesnar to win the Rumble? Yeah, maybe a Daniel Bryan or a Bray Wyatt.
I don't see Daniel Bryan just for the the reason I said earlier about coming back from an injury. I guess I could see Bray Wyatt. I don't know. I don't see Bray Wyatt as champion heading into WrestleMania. Maybe Undertaker if they wanted to do that. But even with that, I don't know. Undertaker again. I mean, who's he going to face? For and it being a WWE title match. So realistically, not really. I'd love to see Daniel Bryan come in and win it. I just don't see them doing that.
Any of you hoping that Reigns wins the Rumble? I mean, I think that Triple H winning and him chasing until WrestleMania would be a little better.
I think it would do him more harm than good if not only does he keep overcoming the odds, but then he goes in, forced to defend against 30 guys, is in at number 1, and then wins. I just think it would do more harm than good. So the way it's booked, I would say no.
Is it too early to predict a TakeOver Dallas card? Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they don't have a show in between now and then, really. So ask us next month, and we will. Will Styles be a flop or a big star like the rest of the ROH guys? I think he can be a star, but it's so hard to tell that. You never know how WWE will book somebody.
Plus, I think they see him as more of a TNA guy than an ROH guy. So it's kind of uncharted territory in a lot of ways because they haven't pushed a TNA guy, someone who got, most of their fame in TNA on the main roster yet. Well, I mean, you saw what happened when they brought Monty Brown back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's uncharted waters. I think he could be. It's just, but you'll see WWE with Cesaro and all these guys in the past that start getting over big and they just cut their legs off for whatever stupid reason they have. So
yeah,
they're their own worst enemy.
Somebody said at best Sonny's could win for special effects because the touch-up artist is going to put in some work. Well played. Is it possible they turn Paige face because Sasha isn't coming back in time to feud with Charlotte at Mania? There's no way they're doing Paige and Charlotte at Mania. Not after they've had that a billion times already.
Yeah, it's got to be Sasha Banks if she's back, or I mean I think that's the clear choice. I hope they don't do like a Divas Battle Royal or something like that, which they usually do. I can't remember the last time. When was the last time there was a Divas title match on the main card?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't.
Or a one-on-one one at least. Will Tyler Breeze ever get a push? No, he will not. I don't think we need to even discuss that. I may have misspoke earlier. The person didn't say that ROH guys were a flop. They asked if Styles would flop or if he'd do well like the other ROH guys.
Yeah, the ROH guys did well as well.
Yes. Last question. Will Triple H get more cheers than Reigns? I doubt it. I mean, he'll get a big pop when he first comes out, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that idea about throwing Daniel Bryan out if he's in there. I think that would get him instant heat.
Super heat.
Because I think I think at that point, if Reigns is in there at the end, I think there's a good chance the fans turn on him. And then a Triple H throwing him out might be a babyface move. So,
yeah.
I almost think I don't know, because you want to build for Reigns and Triple H at the same time. So you need to have something between Reigns and Triple H. So the logic would say that Reigns is in at the end and Triple H comes out at like number 30 and then takes him out. But you never know.
Yep. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back Sunday. Like, comment, subscribe, leave us good reviews, thumbs us up, all that stuff. Like I said, we'll be back Sunday. Go to onit.com/wrestling, save 10%. Download the DDP Yoga Now app. Watch the resurrection of Jake the Snake. Also, be on the lookout Monday. I think it will happen. I've got a big feature that I'm working on dropping. Not going to say what it is yet, but if you were a fan about 10 years ago, you should really, really like it. I put in a lot of work on it, but definitely join us again here Sunday. It'll be me and Raj talking Royal Rumble. We'll either be probably overjoyed because WWE are genius bookers, or we'll be talking about how dumb they are. Maybe a little bit of both. But thank you all again for joining us. Raj, anything else?
No, that's it. Have a good one, guys.
20 years too late, you guys.